Good evening, everybody. I am Mary O'Connor, and I'm with the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation. Thanks to the support of the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health and Alaska Public Media for allowing us to bring you hangar flying. This evening, we are pleased to have Jennie Sandland back on our show. Jennie is an air traffic controller with the Anchorage Air Route Traffic Control Center. She is also part of the Alaska Region Safety Outreach Team. Jennie, welcome back to Hangar Flying.
Hi.
The Alaska Region Safety Outreach Program was started several years ago, and you're part of this team.
I am.
Can you tell us a little bit about how this program came about?
We are just entering our third year now. This was started 3 years ago by Kent Peterson, the district manager, terminal district manager, and at that time Larry Liskanek, the regional vice president for NATCA. And what they identified was that air traffic had lost its touch with the public out here, the flying community, and we really weren't open to the flying public to be able to communicate just all the questions that come up. So that's really where it started.
Can you tell us about the goals of the program and what you've done and what you hope to do?
Sure. So the goal of the program is really to open the lines of communications right at the base level, right between controllers and pilots directly. So pilots aren't having to email questions or go through management layers and all that. We can just speak directly face to face about our concerns, the different problems that we're seeing. We started working with more of our local, our regional type operators, ERA, Hagland, Ace Air, all those guys. We started attending their ground schools. They would invite us in and we'd go attend their ground schools and do a 3 to 4 hour briefing. We really didn't know what to expect initially. We thought we'd go in for about an hour discussion, and it was 4 hours before we got out of there. I mean, the questions kept coming and kept coming. So, but that's really the basis for the group, is to just open those lines of communications and be able to talk with one another about these things that you can't talk about on the frequency.
Well, obviously there's a need if you end up spending 4 hours addressing questions that you probably might not have known were out there unless you had been in place.
Right.
So you are going to commercial operators. Do you also work with general aviation pilots?
That's been tougher for us, is to getting to the general aviation community, because they don't group up for schools and stuff like that like our operators have. We have been attending like the seaplane base seminar. We've gone to the Valdez Air Show. We've gone to the FedEx trade show now several years in a row. So we have a booth there, and we do talk with a lot of general aviation pilots at the Great Alaska Gathering.
And last Wednesday there was an event where there was an open forum. There were flight instructors and general aviation pilots were invited, and there was also a tour option for touring through center. Were you involved with that, and what was the reception with that like?
I was. That was actually started by the FAST team and Mike York, and they asked if we would provide, you know, the type briefing that we've been doing for the carriers for the general public. And so yes, we hosted an event at Anchorage Center. It was supposed to be a 2-hour window. We ended up going almost 3. But yes, folks came out. We brought controller from Anchorage Tower, the Tracon from Merrill Tower, so we had all of us right there face to face. So no matter where they fly and who they're talking to, they've got a controller there that they can ask their questions. We gave a presentation, and with just some general topics that we see happening, you know, quite a bit, like the cold temperature procedures. That's new to us up here. So we talked about that, and just some little things that you just don't get that opportunity to talk about. And yes, they had an opportunity to go tour the operational floor and see what it looks like behind the mic.
That's great. I didn't realize that that was an option with security issues as they are these days.
It's gotten easier over the last few years. Pilots can get tours of the ATC facilities. They just need to call in advance. We like at least a 24-hour notice. We try to keep it Monday through Friday, business-like hours, and they'll need a US ID. But yeah, it's definitely possible.
Great. If there was one piece of advice that you could give to pilots in Alaska as an outreach team member, what would that piece of advice be?
I would say if it doesn't sound right, ask. Don't be afraid to ask. The controllers on the other side of the mic they're just people, just like the pilots, and if something doesn't sound right, ask.
Okay, that's great advice. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for sharing this information about the Safety Outreach Program and the opportunities it provides to improve communications. And we really appreciate your time. We look forward to learning about your job with Anchorage Center on our next hangar flying. Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching Hangar Flying. Please remember us when you apply for your permanent fund dividend and pick Click Give. For federal workers out there, remember us in the combined federal campaign this year. Until next time, fly safely.